Those work besties you bond with over coffee breaks and Slack memes, most of those relationships won't survive a layoff, a promotion, or when you leave for a better job.
Hello, everyone. This is Babette again, and I know that it's been a while since I spoke to you, just because of different commitments that were kind of behind me. And hey, I am back. So today, I really wanted to speak to you guys about something that I was thinking recently. I always think about things, and this one kind of sting me a little bit because I wanted to talk about it in the moment. And this is about workplace relationships. There are situations that allow us to kind of reflect on the experiences we've had when it comes to workplace relationships. And I thought, just being out of the work context in my original country for now kind of helped me analyze or reflect on this type of situation. And what comes to me, or what has stinged me here the most, is how workplace relationships evolve over time. To be very specific, for anyone who have left an employment or moved employment from one employment to the other. So have you realized how quickly the relationships that you had built from your previous employment have significantly died or disappeared? So the people that you laughed with literally every single day, people who you talked to, vented to, opened up to every single day. And then all of a sudden, these same people are not part of the cycle anymore. You realize that there's been a little bit of a slowdown. So the calls stops, the messaging stops, and it's just silent. So it kind of leaves you wondering, were we really friends, or what was the connection about? And it may actually leave you wondering whether that connection was even real. Welcome in, and whatever you're carrying into this episode, you are in the right place. You will notice that I'm actually wearing sleeveless tops. It's highly, extremely hot where I'm sitting. Like, the weather is literally at 35 degrees Celsius, so it's so hot and we are really literally burning. I'm actually coming in with this topic because it's also based on some personal reflection as well. Sometimes we create these friendships in the workplace and expecting these friendships to be lifelong relationships. And when that doesn't happen, we feel some sort of rejection, or maybe the friendship were never meant to be real. But the reality is, and this is based on my personal reflection, that does not necessarily mean that's true. It doesn't necessarily mean that these friendships that we created in the workplaces, that where once upon a time we used to laugh, cry, enjoy, eat, drink together, and have fun, these relationships does not mean that they were not true friendships. They were true friendships, and they were designed to last as long as they lasted. And they were meaningful for that particular time of your chapter. And looking back, those are real friendships. Those are real connections, even when they don't develop outside that environment. And, the relationships that we built during those phases, they're very meaningful, to be honest. They are built based on, and if you can realize that these friendships or these relationships are built based on a shared purpose, shared experiences, shared routines, shared lifestyles within the workspace. And that's why that connection is so real at that particular moment. And when you leave that space or that environment, look at how the friendship is not evolving. Don't take it personally. It's truly, literally not personal. You can still meet these people on your way or whatever, and you can still connect. When these relationships in the workplace are formed, they're mainly formed based on shared purpose, shared challenges, shared wins, shared experiences. So these are the people that you kind of see every day. You laugh together, you share challenges together, you solve problems together, you celebrate wins together. So you kind of develop a very close sense of proximity. Not just a sense of proximity, but also a sense of, basically, the connection is deep. The connection is real, the conversation is real, the support is real and highly felt. But then when that environment that put you together, that workplace that has put you together, when that disappears, what you have built will just go down the drain with it, because you don't have the same purpose anymore. What these friendships or this relationship was built from does no longer exist. So it means that you kind of have to find a different shared purpose so that you can have a similar connection. And that's why you shouldn't take these connections as unreal. That connection was real for that particular purpose. And now that purpose no longer exists. That connection will also suffer. And so maintaining that level of connection or that level of relationship will now require something different. And one of the biggest things that I see that true friendship sustains is the intentionality. And when friendship sustains these environments, it means that these friendships were not built just merely from like a base, not a base, but like a top layer. These friendships were built from like a very foundational, strong roots that are carrying the friendship. So there's intentionality there, there's trust, there's real communication, there's follow-up, there's real concern. So this is the organic friendship that grows from this environment. They are different from the ones that you build in the workplace. And nothing is wrong about the ones that you build in the workplace. And majority of the time, the friendships that sustains just the normal working environment friendships are those that are built even outside the working environment. If you had a habit of building the friendship outside the working environment, then there's a little bit of hope that this friendship can sustain. There has to be some sort of shared interest outside the working environment. And maybe that relationship can overcome or can surpass the normal relationships at work. So just the ability to realize that some of the friendships that we build are not necessarily supposed to be lifelong friendships. They're probably just meant to be part of that or a specific chapter of our lives. And it can end there. And it doesn't mean that those connections were fake. And just being able to accept that some people are literally going to be lifelong friends. Some are going to be chapter friends. Some people are people who helped you grow. Some people are those who made some of your difficult days a little bit more easier. And so I think, some of these relationships should not be measured from whether this relationship stayed over time, but it should be measured from the value they actually brought in that chapter of my life. It's important not to take things personally and not making assumptions that maybe the friendship was not genuine. And one thing we need to remember is that, friendship, just like any other relationship, requires a lot of investment and very much shared intentions into making that friendship grow. When some of these relationships naturally fade, just allow yourself to kind of look back and appreciate these friendships from what they were to you at that particular time and leave it right there. Just remember that not every friendship would last forever. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't genuine or it wasn't real. It was just meant to serve its purpose at that particular time. Let me hear your thoughts about what you think about workplace friendships. So take what you need from this episode, leave what you don't, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.